Yo, people, what's going on? Ezekiel Talk Football, and we're back again with another video, part two of today's stream. We're going to be talking about transfers. We're going to be talking about everything. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a tier list of all the big transfers. We're going to be doing the transfers for Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool. I don't have all the Chelsea transfers because they didn't all come through the door yet, but we're going to get through it. I got a special guest today, my guy, Gunna. How you doing, bro?
I'm all good, my bro. Thank you for just jumping on my channel as well. I look forward to making my debut on here. I had a very good conversation on the first stream, and I hope we're definitely going to continue it with this one. And this looks fun. I'm not going to lie, I like this concept, bruv. So
There you
let's
go.
get this going.
People, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get this show started. Let us know who do you think has won the transfer window? Is it Chelsea? Is it Arsenal? Is it somebody else? Let me know. Anyways, let's get this show started. Okay, let's get this show started. So yeah, man, talk to me. First things first, before we go any further, let you guys get to know the guest a little bit better. Gunn is a Chelsea fan. Of course, he's got his own channel, Man Knows Football. The link is in the actual title of the video, so you can click on that right now and go give him a follow also while you're at it. But yeah, man, let us know. We already spoke about on your channel about how you became a Chelsea fan. Let's now talk about how'd you get into content creating, man? Because it had to be something to do with COVID. Am I wrong?
Well, not really. COVID wasn't at the forefront of my mind. It did happen during, no, it happened after COVID. It was after all the lockdowns. That's
Ooh.
the ironic thing. So my wife, obviously she's not a football fan, but she used to hear like me and my friends arguing about football, talking about football. I'd be watching, content creators such as yourself, several others as well. And she'd be like, man, like you've played football all your life, you've watched it all your life, and that's all you talk about with your friends. And I'm tired of it. Can you just make a channel? If at first I was like, man, I don't know about that. But then she said, listen, like just do it and you never know where it can go. That way you can save me from all this football talk. I listened as a good husband does, and here we are.
Ooh, so it's a wifey that got you into it.
Indeed, it is. So this me being on the YouTube and all that, that's all down to my missus. So you lot can thank her for this.
You know what? Similar story for me. I got into it sunny TV days. I was just bored after a game. I wasn't really working. Wifey's like, you need to find something else to do that's gonna get you active and motivate you. And I was like, you know what? I'll get into this, and that's how I got into it. But right now, before we go any further, bro, do you know who's leading the French league right now in goals?
I
Mad thing.
see it. I see it. I see it. It's Balogun. And the thing is that I keep hearing his name popping up. I've seen him score several nice goals this season, man.
Bro, our young G's are doing it in the French league. They're doing it in the Premier League. Love to see it. Imagine people are actually at this moment in time questioning if Jesus is even our best striker
Wow.
because
That's
he's
that's a
injured.
big statement. Well, you got to give him time. Give Balogun time, man. Let him come back to the Premier League. Give him the time that he needs, man. Also, as well, another one of your loanees, Tevez, is doing good.
Tavares needs to be sold. The guy, the guy can't play in our system. We need to sell him. But you know, it's good to see. It's good to see players doing well. It's good to see players performing over there in France, and it's good to see our loans haven't really been successful ever at Arsenal in a long time. But lately, Saliba, Balogun, Tavares, uh, even some of the other kids that you might not know, Charlie Patino over at Blackburn,
Know about him, yeah, he's a good player.
some of these players, they're all really doing good. So, but yeah, let's get straight into the window though. The window has been mad. First thing we got to ask, is this the craziest transfer window, January transfer window ever? Or is it just me? Because this
No,
has to be the
absolutely.
crazy.
It definitely is. I even said myself several times that one, this is the craziest January transfer window we've seen, and two, this is the best that any club has ever seen in the history of January transfer windows, and I stand by that.
What?
I stand by this being the best transfer window that any English team has seen ever in January.
Okay. Are you saying ever in like ever this could actually be the best ever transfer window ever? Forget January, just ever.
It's a broad statement when I really think about it. It is, bruv. Obviously, time will tell. But in terms of giving the fans what they want, the amount of money spent, and the quality of players brought in, it's got to be up there at bare minimum.
Are we forgetting about Ronaldo, Benzema,
Oh,
Kaká?
oh, yeah, that tops it. You can't beat that because when you mention these names, yeah, you can't beat that. Facts, you can't beat that.
Like
You can't. Is that January though? Was that summer?
what?
Is that January or summer?
Bro, that was a summer transfer.
Oh no, I'm talking about January, just strictly January, not summer.
Talk to me. What is really? What do you really believe? Do you believe Chelsea's window is one of the best ever windows in football history? Because that's where I feel like you're going. Forget about January. You want to talk about football history.
I haven't thought that deeply yet. I've only thought about January because we're in the month of January. I haven't thought that deeply about the summers, bro. But like you mentioned there, right off the bat, Benzema, Kaká, Ronaldo, you just those three alone. Even if you sign 10 players that you want, those three there, that's something that never happens. So you can't ever beat that. You can't.
Okay, fair enough. I think you could actually argue that Chelsea's window is great, but you could argue that Arsenal's window has been not. You can't say because you guys spent so much money, but you could also say Arsenal's window has been really good. And based on the fact that we're competing for the title and we could push on to go win it, if we go on to win the title, you're going to say our window was just as good.
I mean, I can say because listen, what determines a good transfer window is have you at least addressed several of the problems in your squad that desperately need addressing? And in terms of having that backup option, doing well, not doing his exact job because we've said they're two different profiles, but they occupy this similar space. But do you have somebody that can, deputize to Thomas Partey? You do now. Jorginho. Your next option after Partey was who? El Neni and Sambi Lokonga. Is Jorginho an improvement on both of them? I personally believe so. So one, you've strengthened there. Trossard as well, top quality player. Your first option in that position, if I'm correct, is Martinelli. But with him, it doesn't matter. He could probably play either flank. He's very comfortable with the ball on either feet, either foot. He's a very technical player. Either way, he strengthens you. He strengthens you. So by that definition, yeah, you've had a good window, 100%.
Let me ask you this. What do you think of individual players? We're going to get into that right now since we're on the actual window. Let's start talking about individual players and individual signings. So the first signing, I was going to do them in chronicle order, but let's just get into some of these guys. So we have Jorginho, we have now that Partey, we know his injury history, we know everything about Thomas Partey, but now we have Jorginho. Can Jorginho do a job for us? Because you're a Chelsea fan, you've had him. You've been frustrated about him numerous times in your Chelsea career. I've seen you guys. A lot of you Chelsea fans don't even rate the guy that highly. Like
I'll tell you straight up and down, and I say this even when he wore a Chelsea shirt. I was one of the Chelsea fans brave enough to say so. He passed his expiry date a long time for me. And that's just based on what we have. Jorginho is not a player that you rely on week in, week out, your first choice midfielder to be playing in that position in the Premier League. It's suicide. Why? Because you might not get it against every single team, but teams that do press, teams that have that athleticism, that mobility, that even have the technical ability to just pick the ball and just move it around him. That's going to be a problem because he's not athletic. And he's not the most physical as well. Now, stats will show you that, in terms of ball recoveries and tackles, he's done the most. But that doesn't factor into account that we're 10th at the minute and we have less possession than most of the top teams. Like, for example, his ball winning stats are better than Thomas Partey, but who's the better ball winner between the two?
from the
it's,
clock.
it's it's obvious, do you know what I mean? So stats don't always tell the accurate story. But in terms of teams that are not necessarily going to press you all where you know you're confident you're going to have the majority of possession, which you do, to be fair, against most teams, that's where you're going to see his strengths. But don't ask him to be, in terms of like that defensive phase, don't ask him to be that shield in front of your defense on his own. Don't ask him to be one of the uh, guys outside the box by the halfway line to track back in case a counter attack comes from a corner. Don't do none of those things. Anything where you have to rely on mobility, don't ask him to do it. Physicality, don't ask him to do it. He'll put himself about, he'll try, but trust me, it's frustrating.
Okay. So with that being said, where do you put him as a signing? Because what I'll do is I'll put a player somewhere and you let me know if you agree or you disagree. I think Jorginho is a good signing. I'm not going to say he's an elite signing because I would say Casado would have been an elite signing. I'll say he's a good signing based on where we're in and the position that we're in for the price that we got and the amount of years that he's at. I think that's a good signing. We can say he's good. You can drop him down to average if you want, but that's where I would place him. What do you think?
Okay, so this is purely based on what I know about the player. Obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I hope people know by now that I try and keep bias out of this as much as possible, and I'm talking serious. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion and my experience of watching Jorginho till now, I would drop him to average. And I say average because he's going into a team that is perhaps a lot more well balanced than what Chelsea is. So that's going to help hide a lot of his deficiencies. But if he was going to any other team that didn't have that balance, or they relied on him to be that midfielder week in, week out to be challenging, I'd drop him down to rubbish. Not gonna lie.
Wow. Wow. You drop him down to rubbish. I think you're going to
If
get overruled
not,
on that
no,
one.
no, but no, this no, not now because he's with you guys. It depends where he goes. I'm saying, like, if he was to go to a team, like for example, if he was to go to
Tottenham.
Tottenham and they were to say, yeah, this is going to be our new number 6 for the rest of the season, he's going to be our first choice, I'd drop that to a rubbish signing. But because he's going into Arsenal, where Thomas Partey's ahead of him, where the system around him is well balanced, you're playing good football at the minute, you keep possession as well, which is one of his strengths, I had to bump it up. That's
Okay.
why I keep it there at average. Yeah.
Okay. Next, we're going to go to your boy Enzo. Because I'm not going to lie. When Enzo to Chelsea got confirmed, your whole fan base lit up. Everyone's happy. Everyone's going crazy. It's honestly, it's so difficult to even rate this signing anything but a really good signing. I'm putting Enzo straight to the top. I can't, I got to say it's an elite signing because of the
Respect
price.
it.
Because of the price, I would consider dropping it down. But I think based on the price tag, based on the player he is, based on the World Cup win, everything else, I think this is an elite signing. And I think any team that signed him would have been saying this is an elite signing and would have been absolutely gassed. So based on that, I got to put him in elite. What are you saying?
I've got to agree with you. Elite. And this is the thing is, although my sample size isn't the biggest of watching the player, I have said, and this is why I love YouTube because it stays on record. Before we were linked with this player, I said, this is one to look out for 100%. And I would love Chelsea to have a player like this. So I'm keeping it consistent. 100% elite, bruv.
100% elite. And then you know what? Let's now shift over quickly away from Arsenal and Chelsea and go over to Manchester United. Another deadline day transfer. Marcel Sabitzer. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna put it in good signing, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not elite. I think we gotta realize that similar to how we got Jorginho and Ericsson and Sabitzer are two different types of players. They're actually Sabitzer's closer to Bruno than he is to Thing. So they might have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
better well-rounded midfielder defensively, but I have to see how he performs and how he does the transition from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. He only has 5 months to embed and get used to the Premier League. We know how difficult it can be, but he's a very strong guy, and I've wanted him at Arsenal. I don't know if you've wanted him in Chelsea in the past, but I think he's a quality player, so I'm going to put him in good. What do you
I,
think?
I think he's a very good player as well. And it's a good signing for United, man. Very good signing because obviously they lost Christian Eriksen as well. I don't know if it's a leg break but it's a serious injury that's going to keep him out for a while. They needed the reinforcements, and to get him in now, it's good business. To be fair, it's good. So I reckon he's going to do well for them.
What about the other signing? Do you rate Weghorst?
I do and I don't. For a United signing, it's massively underwhelming. I understand. I get why they signed him, but in terms of quality, bro,
Average?
yeah, there's quality in the player, but yeah, average at
People in the
best.
chat, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Weghorst average? I think Weghorst is compared to getting Gakpo for something that ridiculous price. I think it's a decent signing. At the end of
Yeah,
the day, I don't think getting a player for as cheap as they got him for to fill in a position that they needed to fill in. I think he's a decent signing. I'm just gonna say average to good. But you know what? I don't think anyone's gonna be disappointed that we put him in average, realistically, right?
yeah, facts. I don't think United fans would complain either.
Yeah, because they were there. It's a little underwhelming, similar to how we got Jorginho. It's underwhelming, and they were also linked to Felix, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is where we now get into the good stuff. Joao Felix. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna tell you right now, average signing.
Boy.
And you might disagree with me. You might disagree with me, but the reason why I say Joao Felix an average signing, he's alone. You don't have him for long. I know you think you might have him for long because we spoke on the previous show. You think Chelsea might actually sign him, but the manager is leaving. Chelsea will have him for the end of the year. They extended his contract. He was going to go back to the club that signed him for the ridiculous amount of money, and he's going to try to Atletico Madrid with the new manager. They're going to see what they have at their disposal, and they might actually consider keeping him because the new manager might want him around. Chelsea at that point have no choice but to let the player go back to his home club, and they won't be able to sign him. And don't forget, he's already going to miss the first month of your loan. You guys are paying him a
From the
ridiculous
red
amount of money.
card, yeah.
You guys are paying him a ridiculous amount of money because of the fact that you guys got him on that loan. And I just feel like the fact that you have Havertz, yes, maybe he's Havertz's succession plan. But if you guys don't sign him, you're gonna look back at this and you're gonna say we wasted our time with him because you're not gonna be any better in the long term. And in the short term, I don't really think he's gonna benefit you guys that much.
I agree and disagree. I disagree with the average position, but I also agree that he shouldn't be in the elite position because he's not a permanent signing. Purely for that reason. If it was a permanent thing, I'd be slapping him in there and I'd be here with no less. I'd put him up to a good. Um, he's again based on the criteria. Is he an upgrade to what we currently have? Absolutely. Is he? Has he been spoken about? Is he seen by some as potentially with an elite ceiling? As it stands, he's not going to be here long enough to find out. So I don't know. But in the short term, I think he's an improvement to what we have. It's a different dynamic. He's a very exciting player, clearly very talented. I'd move him up to good. I would move him up to good personally. But if you want to keep him at average, it's fine. I'd move him up though.
It's up to you. You can overrule me, or you
I've got
can
to put
be
him. I've got to put him as good. I've got to put him as good.
okay. Fair enough. And somebody just asked a question in the chat: Trossard or Felix? Be honest. Who would you rather have?
In my team, 100% Felix, 100%.
Okay, so would you say Trossard goes in the same category as Felix?
Yeah. You got to move him up.
What do you think of the Trossard signing, by the way?
I think it's a very good signing. How much you pay for him? 27 million or something.
25, I think.
25 million. That's a very good signing for the price. 27 years old, towards the peak of his career, still within that range. Quality's there. Like I said, his strength off his strength off the bench too. Something you guys were complaining about in terms of, we got a good first 11, but off the bench we're weak. That strengthens you. So of course that's a good signing.
Trossard was 27 million.
There you go. So what is that in today's market?
Bro, that's Eddie Nketiah's contract renewal.
This is what I'm saying. So it's peanuts. What's he on a week as well? He can't be on like 200?
He's on 90K.
Not even 100. That's a bargain.
Yeah, we found a good one on him. I'm not gonna lie, we found a really good one. Let me ask you this: would you rather, everyone in the chat, would you rather have Trossard or Cody Gakpo?
Trossard. I never rated Gakpo. I never rated Gakpo like that. But then again, the sample size, again, I've got to go back to it. I've only seen him a handful of times, but there's been nothing of him that has struck out to me to say, yeah, this guy is a top level draw player. Do you know what I mean? So not for me.
People in the chat are saying Trossard average. People are saying Gakpo. Let me know, people. Does Gakpo get into flop candidate already? I seen Lee Gunnar talking yesterday about him already being a flop. I'm seeing Manchester United fans saying, yes, we were linked to him, but I'm thankful that we didn't sign him because he's looking like a flop. It's looking like the Eredivisie is not a good place to buy players from because when you buy them, they come in and they tend to do bad.
What I will say, but this is the thing is, I will defend Gakpo a little bit in the sense of he's also walking into a Liverpool team that are now starting to experience similar problems to what we've been facing. They've got a massive, like their midfield is dog shit. They've only really got Thiago. That Bajectic dude or whatever his name is still very young. It remains to be seen with him. The jury's still out. Out of all of those midfielders, the only certified one that's playing with any kind of form is Thiago, right? So he's come into a situation where it's not ideal for him. But even still, with a complete team around him, you know, we've seen him over in PSV doing his thing. He had his Sangares around him, several other players. He
Bring him
still
up to
never
average.
stood out for me. I don't even know, bro. To me, it's a poor signing, bro. I think
Oh,
what
so
the
you
only thing,
agree with me? Rubbish.
yeah, the only thing
Change
is
the
with
word.
him. Yeah, the only thing is with him that would even make me consider putting him average is the price tag. Because 37 million is in this market again, it's not the most, but everything else around it, not for me. Poor, poor.
Okay. You know what? While we're on some of these signings, Liverpool didn't sign anybody else. Liverpool didn't sign anybody else. That is mad, right? That is another reason why this signing gets dropped down. I feel like because the fact is they wanted a midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
People in the chat are calling Gakpo crapco. Like they're actually going in on him. But you know what? Liverpool didn't actually do any business that was relevant in my opinion. They actually this window they've gotten worse because of the injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's
Yeah, and this is what happens when you don't build on success, and that's what they did. They relied on these stars who were great at the time, but they ignored the big factor of time. Time catches up with everybody.
facts. And you know what? Somebody who I didn't think was going to strengthen a lot, but did Tottenham. We got to talk about them too. They got two players in. They got Pedro Porro in and Danjuma. And the Danjuma one spun me because I don't know about you, but I like Danjuma. I rate Danjuma. I think Danjuma is a quality player, and also he's a Muslim brother, so I support him. But for him to
For-
go to Tottenham pisses me off. I'm not going to put him in. I'm not gonna put him. I'm not gonna put him in poor signing because it pisses me off. I think he's gonna be a good signing for them. It's not an elite signing. He's a loan, but because he's a loan, I feel like you drop him down. But he's gonna do well for them. But did they really need him? They left the window with no center back.
Well, first I'll say this. My judgment on Danjuma, I'd put him in the blue section. I haven't seen enough or know the player enough to say what level of a signing that is. I can only go by, what people
Champions
tell
League
me.
2 goals versus Bayern in the knockout rounds.
That's not a bad start. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bad start. But again, I don't know enough from the player to say. But in terms of, again, we got to ask the questions. What did Tottenham need before the market was open? Where did they need to address? Was Danjuma's position an area of priority, or was there another area that they needed to strengthen before him?
Hmm.
I don't
You
know
know,
Tottenham enough to know. Like, I can't stand them. I only do
I
it when I
spoke.
have
I
to.
was watching Expressions, Tobes and Fuad stream the other day, and they were talking about the fact that they're quite underwhelmed that they didn't get a center back. Also, somebody's asking me when's the last time I went to the masjid. Last time I went to the masjid was last Friday, bro. Anyways, uh, enough about that. Getting back to the Dan Juma thing. Yeah, man. They have Son, Kane, they have Kulusevski, and they have Richarlison in their front line. They added one more. It's threatening, but let's be honest. If they would have sorted, they needed to sort out the defense. Even Luca here is saying that. So They didn't sort out
Okay.
the
Well,
defense.
yeah, there you go. Because when you don't sort out these important areas, it will affect how much you're going to get out of these signings in the more forward positions, bro. So
They
I
did
don't know.
sign. They did sign a defender though, Pedro Porro.
Ah, the right. I like him now. That there, because for the pure fact that I really wanted him, and I feel like all the top clubs in Europe would have been looking at him. I have to begrudgingly put this into the elite category because I really
Elite.
think, yeah, I really think he's a good player, and Tottenham have got a really good player on their hands. Honestly, I hate
Okay.
Tottenham, but it has to be said they've got a serious player there, bro.
You know the former Tottenham player Michael Edwards that's at Sporting.
Yeah. The English kid, yeah.
The reason why this is not an elite deal, they took the buyout, they took the sellout clause out of the deal to get Pedro Porro over the line.
Wow. So they got hustled.
Imagine he gets sold for 100 plus. They and then they could have got 25% of that or whatever 15% of that. So say they could potentially be missing out between another 5 to 10 mil on the deal. Is it? Nah, you know
In
what? That
terms of in terms of quality, I'd stick him in elite. But based on that, if they had to do that compromise for a player that they're interested in bringing back, then it does take some marks off it. But quality
and,
for me is elite.
and it's a loan. It's not even.
Oh, it's not even a permanent. I thought it was permanent, bruv.
I thought it was permanent also, but I heard somewhere that Pedro Porro is a loan.
If it's a loan, then that can't be elite.
Pedro Porro is a loan until the end of the season, with an obligation to buy for 39 million
Oh,
this
okay,
summer.
so he's basically theirs then. So yeah, I'd stick him in elite. If there's an obligation, they can't turn back and say actually no. So he's basically their player.
Okay, fair enough. But it's technically a loan with an obligation to with the obligation to buy in the summer if certain things are met. I think. So yeah,
Okay, all right. But I'm not sure if it ends with them having to, make a permanent move for the player, it's elite. If not, and there's conditions to it, then keep him where he is.
let's just you know what, we'll leave it there for now. Um, the next guy we got to put him in elite. We got to put him in elite. Chelsea signed two elite players, Mykhailo Mudryk. I'm not.
I'll be real with you. I'd put him in the blue section.
What?
I don't know enough about the player to say. I don't know. Like I've seen good things. I hear good things about him, but again, for me to judge a player, I can't go by that. I've got to go off like a decent size amount of games that I've seen him play, and I just haven't. So I've got to
Really?
put him in the blue. I haven't seen enough of Mudryk player. Yes, I've seen him in the Champions League. He impressed me, 100%. But I need to see more of him. I've got to see more.
Hmm. Spurs keep spending money on fullbacks and getting nowhere. That's true. Um, Igal, Felix is the level of Mbappe. Put Felix in elite.
It's
He's not
because he's
getting.
a loan. That's why he's in good. If he was a permanent, I already said he'd be an elite for me.
Yeah, I think there's an option to buy. Yes, there is. Big up everyone in the chat. We got 65 people in the chat. Make sure you do hit that like button and go check out my brother's channel. Also, don't forget to do that. If you guys aren't already subscribed to him, please do go and subscribe to his channel also. But yeah, man, Mykhailo Mudryk, really? You don't rate him, or is it the price that you paid for him?
It's not that I don't rate him. It's not that I just don't know the player well enough to say, as it says at the bottom. I just don't know. I see
You're
good
putting.
things,
Oh shit! You know what? This is a controversial one if you put him all the way there because I know him. I've I've
but
I've been looking at him since summer. I'm putting him in elite because of what I know about him. The
okay,
guy, I'm telling you right now, on this list of players, after Enzo, he's the best talent on this whole screen.
okay. If that's the case, then he stays in elite. But I just don't want to sit here and lie and say that I've watched enough to give you an informed opinion. But yeah, that's where I stand with him. I'm excited. I'm optimistic based on the accounts I've been told, and obviously you telling me this now. I'm excited, but I got to see it.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, let's try to whiz through some of the rest of them because they're not as big names. Then we got Arsenal signing the youngster, uh, Jakub.
I know
Honestly,
nothing about him.
that's where he should go.
Yeah.
Probably because a lot of us could act like we know everything about him. I've done some research myself. I'll tell you, he is highly touted. He played in the World Cup, against Messi, and you probably watched every game Argentina played, and you probably didn't recognize him.
Didn't recognize him. No.
You know what I mean? That's what it is. He's Poland's top center back. He plays as a DM and as a center back over there in Spezia. And you know what? Give Mikel Arteta and Arsenal a little bit of credit. We need a player in a position. We don't go and splash 100 million on every position. We say go find us a player that has this, and this quality, and we get it done. And that's what they did with this signing. Cost us what, 20 million? I think it's a decent deal.
Yeah, if I mean 20 million in today's market is nothing again.
And you guys just spent 35 million on Badiashile.
That to me, for now, because of his age, I put him in good. But in years to come, I believe that he's got an elite ceiling if he stays fit. I really
How
do.
old is he?
I think he's 20. Let me check. I think he's 20 or 21. Let me double check.
I don't know too much about him.
Badiashile is 21. He's 21.
I don't know too much about him. I know he's come from Monaco, and Monaco is highly touted scouting network. Really good scouting network. You guys were after him in a while, and I feel like instead of this, I feel like you guys basically bought a Koulibaly replacement mid-season. Yeah,
That's what's happened. That's what's happened. I love this player, and the thing is this is somebody that I have been watching because indirectly I found out about this guy while I was watching Tchouaméni. Because remember, if you were linked with Chelsea, were linked with Tchouaméni quite strongly before we went to Real Madrid, and I had this whole Tchouaméni watch thing going on. So I came across him, and immediately what stuck out with me was the fact that one, he was so young, but the level of composure and the decision making, the level of decision making that he had, matched with the technical ability. The guy has the tools to go all the way to the top. He is very, very well rounded. Still, there's a lot to see from him. There's a lot to see from him in the Prem. But I'm telling you, that's a name that you're going to be talking about in several years, saying he's a top level centre back. He's a very good player.
Based on this alone, Pedro Porro should be dropped down to average. They spent 180 mil in 5 seasons on fullbacks.
Wow. And how many of them really was a success? Not a single one of them, in my opinion.
Aurier flop, Sessegnon flop.
Regulion's not there no more. He was there.
Reguilon was supposed to be as good as Kieran Tierney. He's a flop. Matt Doherty's an Arsenal fan. Emerson Royale is dog shit. Spence has been loaned out, and Pedro Porro is the only good one. But we don't know how good he's going to be. That's crazy. Terrence Tibb, I didn't know you guys were that bad at mismanaging the team. Crazy. But yeah, people saying Champions League for Chelsea. You believe you guys can get the Champions League, bro?
Bro, based on the football we're playing, no. Would I be surprised if we reached the final? No. Why? Because I've seen it before. I've seen us being absolutely shit domestically, and somehow, some way, come February, we can't be stopped in Europe, or it takes a hell of an effort to get us out of Europe, as you saw with Real Madrid. Because although they beat us and went on to win the competition, we made them sweat until the final minute. So you never know. Different managers, certain players are not there. So it remains to be seen. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Okay, you know what? We're going to enter the speed round. Speed round is just going to be like get through some of these other names so we can just have a little bit of conversation before the end of the stream. Right?
Cool.
So 1 second. What time is it? 33. Okay, so do you know some of these other names? Let me know if you know some of these other names that are in on this list. So first things first, obviously, who's this? This is the
Madueke.
I think Madueke is a terrible signing.
I don't know the player well enough to say.
Let me tell you, he has a bad injury history. You guys have so many wingers in the short term. Unless he absolutely hits the ground running and becomes a wonder signing, in the long term he might just go loan army.
I don't know, because I think he'll get his chances because Ziyech is going out of the door. Pulisic apparently doesn't have a future at the club. Several other attackers. You see us getting wingers in, but there's going to be a lot that we're aiming to ship out of the club. There's a lot of them that we're looking to get rid of.
Yeah, Madueke is one of those guys. You know what? While we're on this, there's a couple names aren't there. So David Fofana's not there. Andre Santos not there. Gusto's not there. I'm just gonna say Gusto quality backup for Reece James.
Mhm.
Could even take the job from Reece James. Santos looks like a very very talented midfielder that you guys are getting over there. Quality player. And Fofana, I just don't know enough about Fofana.
Like, yeah, another one for me as well. I'd put him in that bracket. Don't know enough.
Yeah. Okay. Arsenal guys, I'm happy that Lokonga's going on loan. I think that's the average. I think that's the average signing for them. I don't know if you disagree. I
No,
think
it's
it's
a
an
good, yeah. I mean, for you, it's an excellent move. Premier League loan as well, an opportunity to get some experience. For him, it's good as well. For Palace, you never know. Again, it's one that remains to be seen.
fair enough. You know what? People are gonna say, how are you gonna put Lokonga and Jorginho in the same category? But we have to look at it from a Palace perspective. Cedric to Fulham, he's not gonna really help them, is he?
It's squad depth for Fulham. So I mean, I guess it's average. Yeah, yeah. Leave it at average. Because remember, different expectations when you're talking about clubs like that.
Fair enough. This one's the weirdest one of the night. Carlo Navas.
Elite.
What?
Elite. The reason why I put him there is because Nottingham Forest have absolutely no right to sign any player who's got that many trophies behind them, that much experience, and the goalkeeper as well. Yeah, that's an elite signing for Nottingham Forest. They had no business grabbing him. Fair play to them.
Bro, that is a 5-star FIFA card that Nottingham
Yeah,
Forest has.
bro. Telling you.
I I think we're looking at it based on name. Based on the actual fit. Does he fit what they need?
Yeah, he's better. Bro, put it this way. You see, Keylor Navas, if he was number 2 at Chelsea, I wouldn't complain.
Okay. Fair enough.
So that's why I have to put him there. Like, if he was an option at Chelsea or outside of a first choice, I wouldn't really be the angriest. I think he's had a brilliant career. Have I seen much of him recently? I have to say no. Maybe if his form's dipped, I don't know.
Unpopular opinion. I think he's finished and he's going there for a final payday. And you were gonna find out how bad he is once he's at
It's one of
Everton.
them ones. He's dipped that bad.
Bro, I think he's done.
I'm just, yeah, for me, I don't know. Like, again, form recent, I haven't seen enough, but just based on the club he's going to and the experience that he has and what he's going to bring, he's still got lots to bring to that team. I thought it was, for Nottingham Forest, it was good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, people are saying that can't be elite. Some people even saying what?
For Nottingham Forest. This is not for Chelsea or Arsenal. This is Nottingham Forest. These men are fighting relegation, huh?
All right, Newcastle. They got thing. I think that's a good signing.
How
Anthony
much
Gordon.
did they pay for him?
Anthony Gordon, how much did they pay for him? I forget. Let me check. If I'm not mistaken.
All right. Drop Navas down to good, because everyone's saying Navas is shot to bits.
45. 45.
Not bad, considering that Chelsea almost paid 100 million for him. Yeah, that's a good signing for Newcastle.
Well, yeah. He completely down tools. People were mad at
Yeah.
Casado. People were mad at Casado, but my man down tools worse than Casado. They're in a relegation battle. He hasn't played in like weeks. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
funny how things work, right? One man writes a poetic, respectful note. The other guy gets dissed and he hasn't played a game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. Anyways, Weston McKennie was linked to Arsenal, linked to Manchester United, linked to Tottenham, linked to Chelsea, ends up going to Leeds and Jesse Marsh's USA Academy. I'm
Average.
gonna put average, yeah.
I agree.
Average.
That stays
For,
average.
for Leeds, it might be a good signing, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Danny Ings makes no sense.
That one was surprising to me.
Poor signing. No.
Yeah, he's been off it for a long time as well.
West Ham need goals. They go get Danny Ings. Maybe he can get them goals, but this is the same thing as Burnley did this. Southampton have done it. Everyone gets him, and he just somehow picks up form. If he picks up form, it's an average signing. If he doesn't, it's a poor signing. So based on form, I'll say average.
I don't get it either. What happened to Skamaka? Is he on? Did they loan him out or something?
I don't know. haven't seen or heard
Weghorst.
about Skamaka. I'm thankful that none of our scouts looked at Skamaka any deeper. I thought West Ham beat us to the punch for Skamaka. Looking back at it, we never actually were in for him. It was just one of those agent links.
Tentative interest or agent link. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then the rest of the names I don't really know too well. Felipe, who's that? Felipe. Oh shit. He's at
Atletico Felipe.
yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna put him in an average. And then I look at no
What? Hey, what? Southampton signed Orsic. Which Orsic is this? Sorry, I got a bit this.
Paul Osage. Oh
Miss Love,
shit!
bro, that one there is a brilliant signing for Southampton. He
This
could
one.
go, yeah, he could go for about 60, 70 in the future. He's a player.
Which one?
Orsic is a baller.
Paul.
Mislav Orsic, him, yeah, him. He's a player. If he's that one from Dynamo, that guy is a player. Trust
It
me.
is, you know.
Yeah, he's a player. For
It is the guy
Southampton,
from that.
that's a brilliant signing.
I
Excellent
never
signing.
noticed that still. Did you notice Leicester got the defender from the
Whoa, hold on. They got Suleimana as well. What's going on at Southampton? Another one. You got to put that elite, bruv. Sorry, I just couldn't believe. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Suleimana is a baller.
You know what? I don't know too much about Suleiman.
Suleimana is a baller. I'm telling
Look
you.
at Chris Wood gone to Nottingham Forest. Average.
Average. I think he's better than Awayini, but still average.
Jeremy Mario Lamela.
Mario Lemina.
Poor.
Bruv, I think that's poor. He had a lot of promise, but he never fulfilled it.
Let's see
What Bournemouth signed Utara as well.
Yeah, that's a good signing.
Very good signing for them.
Okay.
A man
And
said
then-
Orsic is average. You're buzzing, fam.
I don't know who this is. Oh, Dawson went to Wolves.
I didn't expect to see that.
Average signing. Oh shit. Gomez went. What club is that?
Joao Gomez. He came from Brazil. Came from the Brazilian league. Don't know enough. Enough.
Hamed Traore.
That's a good signing for Bournemouth.
know
Again,
too
but I
much
haven't
about
seen enough. I ain't seen enough about him.
I don't know enough about this guy.
Neither
I don't know
do I.
enough about this guy. I'll tell you this. Chamena, Mateus Chamena going to Wolves could be a good average signing. Could be an average or good signing. We don't know. And then the rest of them, I don't even know. Do you recognize the defender?
I don't recognize him.
I think he's the Australian, no?
Either way, we don't know enough about him.
Yeah, I don't know enough about these guys. But so yeah, that's where we're ending it off. Oh shit!
Sarabia for Wolves. That's
What
a
the hell?
surprise.
That's a good signing. He's a quality player.
I think he's all right. I think it's a good signing for Wolves. I think it's a good signing for them.
And then the last guy, Alex Moreno. Don't know too much about Alex Moreno. I think I'm happy with that. What do you think?
Yeah, that's cool.
I think with all things standing, we put 4 players in elite. I think that's fair.
I just want to check something. Hold on.
What are you checking?
I wanted to see how old Orsic was.
Orsic?
Oh no, that's not the player that I was thinking. There's another young player at Dynamo who came on against us and he looked good. I think he even scored in the first leg. I thought it was that Orsic. No, that's the wrong Orsic. That's the wrong one. I thought it was there was another player that I was thinking about. Let me see who that was actually.
Is that that's Maslav or Orsic?
Oh, so are they both Orsic then?
It's the same guy. He's 30 years old.
Am I thinking? Nah, bro.
It's the same guy. He's 30 years old.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm either getting the name wrong or it's another Orsic. But there's another young player that they had at Dynamo.
Bro, it's the
that
same
was
guy.
mad. Are you sure it's him?
This is the guy who scored against Chelsea, I think.
Wow. Is that him?
He's 30 years old. Yeah, it's
I'm
him.
gonna have to.
He's
Yeah,
the one that scored against Chelsea. Yep, it's him.
he had a good game, to be fair. But again, because you see what I saw from him then, again, the player that I remember in my mind was not 30 years old. I might have rated the goal, I might have got this completely wrong, but he was not 30 years old. He was a
Yeah, bro,
young
this is
player.
when Chelsea fans go too far. Madueke is better than Saka. Stop it. Anyways, look, let's not get triggered. I'm not gonna get triggered. Arsenal fans don't fall for it, bro. Honestly, amazing stream. Really do appreciate it. Good little chat. I feel like we after looking at that, I feel like these tier lists can get controversial, but it's relatively straightforward at this point. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe in a year's time we look back at it and we look at it and we say, "Yo, well, why did we put Osik that high?"
I'm still, bro. I'm still he's sitting here thinking about it because you know when you've got. I'm now thinking, who is this brother?
He's 30 years old. He's the guy who scored against you in the 1-0
He had a
loss.
good, yeah, he had a good game, but is it even him I'm thinking of?
He's the same guy who also scored against Tottenham in the Europa League this season, the Europa League or the Europa Conference League.
Right, yeah, I must be my bad, everyone. I'm just getting this all completely messed up. My bad,
But yo, is
my bad.
Solomon? Should we actually be putting these guys in the same
Now,
bracket?
Suleimana is proper. Suleimana, I'll stand on that 100%. I like Suleimana, and
So
there's a
Osik
player
goes
in there.
down.
Drop down Orsic. I thought he was somebody else completely, but he did play well against us. To be fair, I just thought he was someone else completely.
Okay, and then finally, I'm just gonna say this: Everton getting relegated, right? Because these guys, they had the worst window of all time. You
I
know what
thought they
happened?
were gone.
Anthony Gordon left. Conor Gallagher rejected them. Aubameyang rejected them. Batshuayi rejected them. Olivier Giroud rejected them. Um, what do you call it? They also had Ismail Assar from Wolves reject them. Watford, I mean. And the final nail in the coffin, Andre Ayew is is going to be their only signing of the window, and he's a free agent.
Wow, but you know what might save them? Sean Dyche.
Salamale also rejected them and went to Southampton.
They're in problems. They're in but then
Danjuma.
that might be down to the fact that their future is very uncertain as a club because apparently their owners are thinking of selling, and players don't really like that level of uncertainty. You know, they like to be somewhere where they know, that's somewhere that's settled, as you can imagine.
And finally, who's going to win the Premier League, bro? Top four.
Yeah, in the interest of me not being shameless and having a policy of telling it how it is, unfortunately, I think it's going to the Emirates. Arsenal are going to win it. Man City will come either second or third, depending on if they have a bad patch of form and if Manchester United can keep certain players fit. But either way, Man City's in there. I think Newcastle, they play one game a week. They're on good form right now. It's so hard though, isn't it, Eagle, this season? Outside of Man City and Arsenal, it's so hard to call it, bro. It's still open because there's Tottenham, there's like I said, Newcastle, there's Manchester United as well. Bro, I think United get top four because as much as I don't like them, I think Ten Hag has done a very good job with them. He's come in and identified quickly key positions that need to be addressed. And as a result, they're playing better football. So I think they get it. And now it's between Tottenham and Newcastle, bruv. Yo.
You know what? It's fair enough, man. I feel like I put you through enough stress.
Yeah, you put me
For,
through
for,
mental
for me,
gymnastics.
for me, for me, it's straightforward. I'm gonna tell you as it is. No friendly stuff. Chelsea's not finishing in the top four. Chelsea's not
Definitely not.
finishing in the top six. Chelsea's not finishing top seven. You're, I don't. You know what? You'll finish seventh. You'll get Europa Conference League,
I
and then
don't want that.
and then you can say you've won it all.
No, give me eighth. Give me eighth. Give me
You
eighth
can say
place.
you've won it all. You've won the Conference League. You'll be the
No,
first
no,
club.
no, 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 no. Give me
You'll be the
eighth.
only club in Europe to say you've won it all.
Nah, I don't even want my kids playing in that competition. Cobham. Nah, I was all talking about, bruv. Earlier today, I was talking about if we get Europa League, I want the youngsters and Cobham to play that. Yeah, so imagine what I think of the Europa. Sorry,
Liverpool will
the
finish
conference.
behind you. Liverpool are in the 10th, ninth era at this moment in time. They're finished. Tottenham fifth, Manchester United fourth, Newcastle third, City second, Arsenal first. That's my predictions. But yeah, bro, I'm out of here. Honestly, really do appreciate you having you on the channel today. Big up to everyone who's watching. Make sure you do check out his channel, Man Knows Football. And Gunnar, man, appreciate it, man.
No, man, I appreciate you for inviting me on, bro. And we've definitely got to do this more often, bruv. Now that we've obviously done the collaboration, I feel that it went well. We definitely got to work together a lot more. But big up everybody in the chat as well, man. Thank you very much for your contributions. Before you leave here, slap that like button, show Eagle some love, subscribe if you're new as well. He's also on the road to 20K, so make it happen for him, man. Make it happen.
There you go.
I'm not far
Big up,
behind
people.
you. Yeah,
There you
man.
go. And we hit that. We hit it up from there, guys. We're out of here. Peace.